people as. All right, so welcome officially to the Birth Through Five grant webinar for May, and it's the final webinar for Birth Through Five. So yeah, we'll just be giving some little updates, reminders for the end of the grant cycle, and there will be lots of time for questions. And if you have questions that you prefer to ask that aren't like questions for the group, then that's best if you hang out until the end as people start to sign off, and then usually you can catch us without many folks hanging out at the end of the meeting. So yeah, thank you and welcome. And I apologize, but we were not able to get interpretation, so an interpretation channel for Spanish for this meeting. So I do apologize for that. And I will still be sending out the slides in Spanish as well as English. So just wanted to mention that part right at the beginning. And Brandon will keep admitting people as they get here. So I'll go ahead and go to the agenda. So we'll start, as we usually do, with a little icebreaker, and then we'll do a brief overview of reporting and programmatic pieces. And then I'll give a little end of grant cycle reminders from the programmatic perspective. And then Brandon will share some grant office fiscal updates and reminders and specific to the end of the grant cycle as well. Then we'll have a brief little check-in with some questions for all of you, and then time for questions and answers. All right, and so for the icebreaker, how we usually do it is we invite you and love when people come off mute to respond to the question, but we also are completely fine with responses in the chat. And then Brandon is usually willing to read out some of the responses that we get in the chat. So I have kind of a two-part or either or icebreaker question today. So the first prompt is, what is one of your favorite memories from childhood? And I also wanted to give the option in present day, what is something that you enjoy doing that feeds your inner child as an adult? I thought that one's kind of fun. So I can share just to get us started off that it kind of answers both of the questions, but one of the things that I do currently that feeds my inner child is working, like playing in the dirt, working outside, working in the garden. And that's also a good memory from childhood is I just loved playing outside and especially helping my mom in the garden. And my main task was weeding, and I was always very proud of myself with the success of how pretty everything looked after I weeded it. And now I continue to really enjoy the satisfaction of weeding. Just I feel like it's kind of a meditative experience as you're doing it, and then it looks great afterwards. So yeah, that's to start us off. So would anyone like to come off mute and share?
I'll go next.
Great. Hi, Marlo.
Hi, how are you? Marla
Good.
Williams Oxy's Parent Engagement Programs Manager, SCI. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, you can't see me. I am in commute. One of my favorite memories as a child, my dad is a retired chef. And I used to love to watch him cook in the kitchen at the restaurant, me in my uniform, and watch how he would slice, how he would cut and dice so quickly. And that would be our thing. Every time I would come home from school, I would want to be taken to the restaurant just so I can just watch him prep for the
Oh, I love
evening.
it.
And that would just be our time to spend together. And even now, we even reminisce and talk about it. So that's my favorite childhood memory.
Ah, that's wonderful. Do you mind sharing was it a specific type of food, or was he kind of an all-around chef?
His specialty was Parisian. That's what he went to
Ooh,
culinary school for. So that was the favorite thing in the house to eat. You know, our
yeah.
background, we're French, and so that would be the thing. And Italian. So he went to school for both. So I would
Okay.
love to watch him make homemade meatballs and watch him prep the meat.
Ooh,
Yep.
delicious. You probably ate well growing up, it sounds like.
A little too well, but
Yeah. Not the worst problem to have.
exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Marlo.
I can go next.
Great. Wonderful.
María Monroy Mota with el programa Hispano. Let's see, something that I enjoy doing now. So I have a 5-year-old, almost 5-year-old next week, and then a 2-year-old. So something that I really enjoy doing with them is just being messy and doing like arts and crafts, utilizing anything that we have in the house, which was very different than my childhood. My parents were, you know, on the stricter side, they're like,
Mhm.
school, that's kind of the school's responsibility, right? Like at home is
Yeah.
different. So, just being able to engage in those activities with my children and just, um, yeah, like just getting messy, right? Like we can clean things up, right? Like it's
Yeah.
totally okay,
I
to
love
just
that.
be in that environment. So yeah, so they love it and I love it, and I feel like that just, feeds my inner child and exposes me to
Yeah.
things that I didn't, have growing up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for sharing. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm sure your kids love it because kids love getting messy, and so do adults. So fun for everyone.
I'll go next. Hello,
Yay.
everyone. Javon
Hi,
Williams.
Javon.
Also SCI, she, her pronouns. What I do now that feeds my inner child, I was a huge Lisa Frank girl when I was young. And so Lisa Frank had all of the planners and the binders, and it was just super colorful, super bright, unicorns and rainbows. And I'm still a planner, but what I am now is like a decorative planner. And so I'm
Ooh,
the person that buys all of the stickers, and so, I decorate for the month. I might decorate for whatever I need to plan for the day. But just to make it look, pretty and make me want to come back and look at it every day.
I love that. I also really enjoyed Lisa Frank. The characters, the way the art looked was really appealing, and
Oh
still is
my
appealing to
gosh.
me, to be honest.
Yes.
And the colors are just really on point. They're great. So
Yeah.
yeah.
A couple from the chat. Shauna loves to eat chocolate covered gummy bears during report time because it helps
Ooh,
them feel like a child and get through them.
I love
And
it.
Aaron, a good childhood memory is their beach trips with their parents and siblings.
Ooh,
And what feeds their inner child is bike rides. And
love it.
Jen, being in the cherry harvest crew, grew or not crew, excuse me, grew up on a farm. Going back to cherry harvest each summer is super nostalgic. Donalda is playing nurse or animals.
Mm.
Very cooperative, like cat and dog. Virginia, favorite memory is their family going to the Science Center in Los Angeles and going through the 3 different floors of activities. Fun. Brandy, good memory. Sitting down. Oh, excuse me. Apologize. I is sledding down a hill and so much that people called it Brandy's Hill, and then also loves to dance around and feed their inner child. Kamisha gets to live with their best friend since preschool, so a bunch of opportunities for inner child
Oh,
through laughter and shared memories.
that's lovely.
And Sudi cooking with their mom is an experience they still enjoy today. Additionally, engaging in pretend play with the kids feels like nurturing their inner child. And swimming in the ocean from Geraldine. Anita, favorite memories when they played in the dirt when it rained. Absolutely. Making mud is super fun. And now I'll hop off so
Yeah.
other people can also share.
Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, is there anyone else that would like to come off mute and share? even if you
I,
already shared in the chat.
I can go next.
Great. Hi, Myra.
Hi, hey everybody. My name is Mayra Elefson with Mano a Mano en Casa Infantil. My pronouns is she, her, hers, and something favorite memory from my childhood. I think the best one is my parents teaching cultural activities to kids, kindergarteners, and also from first grade to third grade. And something that actually feeds my inner child is exactly what they used to do. That's what we do with the kids here at the school.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. You get to recreate. Thanks, Myra. Anyone else before we?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go next. Hello guys, happy Friday.
Hi,
Um,
Sarah.
my name is Istar Abu from Cairo, and something that feeds my inner child is dancing. We did a lot of dancing when I was a kid to pass time. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, dancing has been a theme based on that sharing and what's in the chat too. Definitely is very freeing, and yeah, a lot of us had a lot of fun as children dancing around. I currently dance often. When I'm done with work, I'll have a little dance party with my dog, and she gets really excited and worked up, so we both have a good time with it. Would anyone else like to come off mute and share before we move on? All right. Well, thank you so much for those of you that came off mute to share, and then all the great responses in the chat. That was a fun icebreaker where we got to hear a bit about each other and our childhoods growing up. All right. So I will move us along. This is a little less fun because it's about reporting, but at least we started off with something a little more exciting. So just clicking through. So reporting requirements. This part's just I'll go over it super quickly because it's a review. I just like to put it in there for reference. And so this is the table from your grant agreements. And so we have had just ongoing monthly reports for birth through 5. And as I noted here, we don't have separate demographic reports. We just have the regular monthly report. And we're not asking for demographic information for this grant for the one-time cycle because we wanted to minimize the burden and reporting requirements as much as possible. And then at the beginning, we had the project plan and the budget, and then we have monthly expenditure reports and claims. And then we will also talk about the 2 bottom pieces here, the end of fiscal year budget reconciliation and the final report. So the monthly report has been due on the 15th of the month following the month that you provided services. So for instance, this month in May, you would have submitted April's report. And then in June, by the 15th, is when the May report would be due. And the report collects information on any of the activities, any and all of the activities that you're administering for birth through 5. And it asks for different sets of numbers and information based on which type of activity you select that you're doing. And then asks for a brief narrative summary of each activity that you're doing as well. So sometimes when I download the slideshow, it makes the formatting kind of funny. So I apologize that that's a little weird, but I'll try to fix it before I send it out. At least it's still readable. So in terms of the programmatic side, some reminders for the end of the grant cycle, which is coming up here on June 30th. So we have exactly a month from today for the rest of our grant. And so just reminders around the monthly reports. So with the reports, when you submit them, you can click at the bottom where it says to send me a copy of my responses. And I'm imagining many of you have been doing that. So if you have, then it would be a good time to just like click back through and review, make sure that you've submitted for each month. But I also have a tracking system, and so I'm going to be reaching out. Um, it will be next week because it's Friday afternoon already, but I will reach out next week to those that are missing some reports so that we can get those identified and turned in, because sometimes it's just easy to forget for a certain month and not realize. And then we do have a few grantees who have submitted duplicate reports for certain months. And I think it's because sometimes there's multiple people working on the grant and it might not have been clear like which person was filling out the report. So in terms of the numbers that we synthesize from the reports, I want to get that sorted out so that we don't have duplicate reports showing which will, incorrectly increase the numbers and throw off the reports. So I'll reach out to those of you that do have duplicate reports for certain months as well. And there is an end of the year report for birth through 5, but it will not be super time consuming. Just like the monthly report, we're trying to make everything as concise and limited as possible just to get the basic information that we need. And there will be some kind of like overall, how did it go type questions. And we will not be releasing that until the end of the grant cycle because we really want people to hold off starting to work on the end of the year report until the grant cycle is actually at a close. And the due date is August 14th. So that means you still will have about 1.5 months to complete and get the end of the year report submitted. So now that moves us along to Brandon for grant and fiscal office updates.
Yeah. So just some key reminders, and I know Emma already said this, but 1 month. So all activities and purchases must be completed and received by the state. There is no extensions allowed or available for this one-time grant funding. But final claims are due August 14th. So you can submit your final reimbursement claims through that date. All the claims still must align though with allowable costs for your approved projects and with receipts that show before June 30th. And then I didn't actually make a slide for it, I'm realizing, sorry Emma. But the budget reconciliation will be really simple. It's going to be in the same format as your expenditure report with just your final end amounts to ensure that they all match. And there'll be an email that'll go out after June 30th with that as well. So
I think, Brandon, what we can do also is before we send out this slideshow, you can add a slide in for that, and that way it'll just be in there too.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And then if you hit the next slide.
Okay.
I have this in here. A lot of you have made claims already, so this is going to be a little redundant, so I do apologize. But there's several of our grantees that have yet to make a claim. So I just want to make sure that everybody has that information. So claims are submitted directly through AMS. The AMS amount that you put in must match your expenditure report. Then your expenditure report is uploaded in AMS, so it's not submitted through Smartsheet. And then each expenditure report is customized to your grant amount for easy tracking and was sent out around the end of 2024, depending on when your grant was executed. And if there's any questions around that, please reach out so we can help walk through the process, because there's just also, I'll probably just also in the email that Emma sends out, have her attach the AMS how-to guide, because we've also had a few grantees that have just had some technical issues once they've started the claim with not getting it all the way through, which is delaying some payments, and I want y'all to get your money. So yeah.
All right, so I have some little check-in questions. They're similar ones to what I asked in a previous webinar, but first I actually just wanted to ask if there are questions based on what we just both went over, particularly related to the end of the year. And Brandon, would you be willing to check the chat as well, please?
Yes.
And if there aren't any questions, that's great. We just wanted to make sure to allow space for that.
Emma, I have one question.
Yeah.
So when we're submitting the reports, let's say, for example, the one we were submitting for May, that's for April. So when we're selecting, when we're submitting it in that, are we saying April 15 or are we saying May 15?
So you select the month that you're reporting for. So when you go to do your April report, you'll be
Right.
doing it in May, but you
Right.
select April because that's the month
We
of the
select
report.
April.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
and I think I maybe talked to your colleague to try to, because I think it was 1 month off for your submissions, and I
Yeah.
think we identified that as an issue. And I'm happy to meet with you separately just to kind of walk through each of your reports and make sure that I have the right corresponding date. So yeah, thanks for asking that. It is confusing, and for another grant that we run for the Early Childhood Equity Fund, it's also easy to select, in your brain, you think of the month that you're currently in. So that can be confusing for reporting.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions coming up? And if you want to ask questions privately, you can always just send us emails. Our contact information will be reiterated at the bottom. And you can also set up meetings with us. All right. Okay. So, and there will still be time for questions at the end if you think things through and something does come up. So, just a check-in generally, is there anything that anyone would like to share about what's been going well or any highlights with the Birth Through 5 funds to start us off?
I can start us off. This is Jen Heredia with OCDC, and our grant was for 2 different regions. We did a professional development project in the Four Rivers region, which is Hood River, Wasco, Sherman, Gillum, and Wheeler counties. And then we also included the same professional development series for Malheur County. And it's been fantastic. For those of you who know Dawn Hendricks, who works with Clackamas Community College. She was our trainer for this series, and it's a series that she developed on dual language literacy. It's a fantastic training series. I would love for her to just be able to do nothing but tour around the state offering the series to everyone, but unfortunately she has many hats that she wears already. But we felt really fortunate to have her come out. She offered 6 5.5-hour training sessions in our region and condensed those into 5 just due to travel concerns with Malheur County. Out in Malheur, this was brand new content for them, and they had around 60 participants in every session, which was really exciting to see. And it was great for them, and being in such a rural area, to have access to some really high quality dual language literacy training. It also included materials that Dawn was using in a really hands-on way during the training sessions, and participants were able to have their hands on those materials and practice with those materials during the sessions, and then take those materials back to their programs and implement them right away. So that was also very exciting. In our region, we had a little lower participants because we offered this series, actually a similar series, about 10 years ago. But what we saw was really exciting as well, because while we were only working with around 25 participants in this area, there was a lot of networking and really strong connections being built between staff at different programs. And we're seeing that carry through to activities outside of their programs. And then now participants are working on developing some parent workshops as well around dialogic reading and some other things that they're going to do as follow up to their trainings. So it's been awesome. Everything's gone really well. For me, both Birth to Five and our equity grant programs are amazing because they give us the freedom and the flexibility to do really creative projects that are what our communities need in ways that our communities need them. And they've been super easy to work with, and reporting and all of those things has gone very smoothly. So thank you both very much. I'm super appreciative, and we're very excited to be wrapping up. Our last training session for the 5-county region is this Saturday, and then they've got 2 more sessions, I think, to be done by the middle of June in Malheur County. So,
Oh, wonderful. Thanks so much, Jen. And I'm glad that, yeah, you feel passionately about both of the grants, and that you're highlighting the flexibility and creativeness that they kind of allow, activity wise. And so, yeah, that's really great feedback. And I'm glad that that trainer worked out so well. And I don't know if I'm not looking at the chat, but I wonder if you might want to put the name of that trainer, or I don't know if it's something that other people might be interested in. Probably not for like this current grant cycle, because there's probably not enough time. But it seems just like a great contact to possibly share out. Thank you. Does anyone else want to come off and share any highlight?
I'll share. So I'm Sarah. I'm with South Lake School District, and we too had Dawn Hendricks come actually and do a training with our team. She partnered with Elise Lovejoy, who our literacy consultant, went to a training in Oakland and saw Elise Lovejoy's presentation, and so we invited her to come up here, and she collaborated with Dawn to do a presentation on dual language as well, with our team. And then we did one with our community partners at the library. And then we did one with families. So it was an all-day event, which was really nice to be able to share that information, not only with staff, but with community partners and with families. So that was really successful. And then this week, our team went on a field trip to a farm, and we incorporated literacy components to that. So we did some reading at the farm, and the kids did some activities, and we had over 100 folks participate in the field trip. And then next week we have our end of the year celebration, which will have more literacy activities for families to participate in. And then we've distributed over 700 books, and we'll continue to do so in the month of June. So we're really excited. It has been really beneficial for us to collaborate with our friends of the library and really ensure that our community members are getting these literacy activities to them, as well as folks who are connected to the school district. So it has been really good for us to build that connection, that collaboration, and expand services and opportunities for our community.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah, lots of great things that you highlighted, and that farm field trip sounds really fun. I miss going on field trips with kiddos. And that's great you were able to embed literacy activities within it. Anyone else like to share?
Sure, I'll share. We
Great.
use the Birth to Five literacy funds to help supplement a lot of our other programming by adding a lot of different literacy activities in them. So what was a highlight with these funds is that we were able to add more literacy components and actual family engagement events with our Brain Box Club. So we have a Brain Box Club that is for 0 to 4-year-olds, and they're boxes full of age appropriate activities and parenting education information in them and books. And so with these funds, we were able to do it twice a year versus just a one time in 4 different communities. So we served an additional like 450 families with being able to give them extra books and puzzles, and we were able to have early childhood days in each of our communities with these funds. to be able to bring in other partners for screenings and preschools, childcare. There's all kinds of different partners that came to the different ones, so that families had one place to go to learn everything early childhood. So that was a great opportunity with these funds, and we're really appreciative of them.
That's so great. Thank you, Shauna.
And Myra put in that the Birth Through 5 Literacy Fund has been going well. They've had really positive outcomes and progress in their programs with families and kids. And we've had a lot of great feedback from the parents. So it's been grateful to see the amount of achievements and improvements in the children's development, as well as successful program activities where the parents and kids work, play, and learn together. And just a lot of fun literacy activities and education trips that bring knowledge to their community.
Wonderful. Thanks, Myra. And thanks, Brandon, for reading it. Anyone else? All right. And if something comes to you, feel free to come off mute and share, but I'm going to just move on to the next question. About what has been challenging, if anything, about administering these grant activities? And is there any support that might be helpful? I know we only have a month left, but we are here for you. So let us know if there's anything we can do. And I think a challenge that we might hear and that I have heard from grantees, just to start that off, is just the time constraints and trying to execute certain grant activities that might, the logistical steps ended up maybe taking longer than was anticipated. And so, yeah, I've heard some people have done some really creative shifting gears with trying to make things work when they've hit some roadblocks. So I'll just start it off with that. But if anyone would like to share any challenges, and if someone thinks of something that's great that they want to share, you can still share that as well. See if there's anything in the chat.
I don't think we had really any like challenges with the actual grant activities themselves. It's more of a challenge to be able to serve the whole family sometimes when we have like early childhood events and then they bring siblings that are older to be able to have, like books that are their age that,
Yeah.
appropriate, and being able to serve, the whole family so that they feel like it's a family event just for their littles.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for highlighting that.
The chat, Kamisha put in here as well that Orchwa has been able, like going back to the last question, I think she was still typing it.
Yeah.
But has been able to offer training sessions to community education workers with more of a focus on the promoting early literacy among multilingual families and enhancing teaching and engagement strategies when facilitating groups with families navigating the school systems and speech development for multilingual or multi-language learners, which is great. And then Jen put in for one of the challenges, but it worked for them, was the time constraint worked, but equity plans in light of the current administration were interesting, but not really challenges or barriers, just flexibility and communication really helped with all of that.
Oh, good.
The dog. Sorry about my puppy. Keep having to come in.
Anything else? Oh,
I can share what I just put in the chat just to elaborate on.
Hi, Kamisha.
It's mostly been all strengths. It's been really helpful to have some additional funding through Birth Through 5, and has supported our partners and really amplifying their focus around early literacy. Our partners have been able to host more field trip outings at local libraries, having more events, and just establishing more partnership and relationship with local libraries. They've also been able to do more outings at like OMSI or Tulip Farms and incorporating different learning activities there with like different worksheets and then I forgot to put this in my comment, but also during home visits, CEWs have had more opportunity to just like do storytelling with children or provide activities that parents and children can do together. So it's been a lot of fun and a really helpful focus for this year.
Thank you, Kamisha. I appreciate you sharing additional detail to what's in the chat. And then since you put it in the chat, it will be logged also so we can see it. I'll pause for just a moment more in case anyone thought of something they want to share. Sorry. And the other questions, just do you have any questions for fellow grantees, or do you have any, we already asked about questions for what Brandon and I presented earlier, but if you have any other programmatic or fiscal questions, now is a great time. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide, but if anything pops up, just feel free to come off mute. And we're about to wrap up. We have a few minutes left in our time period today. So just a reminder that we have office hours for birth through 5, and I'll go ahead and send out the link again. I sent it out earlier on in the grant period, but I'll send out the link again because our last office hours is coming up this coming Wednesday, and it's from 3 to 4:30. And typically it's just me and Brandon hanging out and by ourselves in the room and doing other work while we're waiting. And we would love to see some of you if you want to just say hi, or if you have a specific thing you want to chat with us about, and it's kind of simpler than creating a one-off meeting with us, because likely you will be the only one there, and get us to yourselves to pick our brains with whatever questions you might have. So just want to reiterate that. And even though this is the last webinar and that is the last office hours, we are available via email to reach out to. So don't hesitate to reach out as well. And that brings me to this page, which has our ESEF email, my email, and Brandon's email, and our phone numbers. My phone is not reliable because I have poor service where I live, so email is best for me. But I do have the phone, and you could text me as well. That seems to work better than phone calls. So, and we already have asked for questions, but we have reached the end. And hopefully what we had to share today didn't feel too complicated. We've tried to, as I've mentioned before, just keep everything as simple as we could for this grant, given that it's a 1-year grant opportunity and we wanted you to be able to focus more on actually administering your activities. So.
Well, Emma, just as a comment.
Yeah.
Hearing all of the reports, this grant did a lot of good work, a lot of positive things for children and families, and somehow be good to be able to shine it somewhere. I know from our own experience it was good, but across the state, it's made a big impact on individual lives. So.
Yeah. Thank you so much for highlighting that. So as part of the end of year report, we're going to be asking some questions that give you the opportunity to really like showcase the things that you're excited about that you did with the funds and like overall impact. And that's information that we will definitely be sharing in every way possible to showcase the amazing work that people have been able to do with the funds across Oregon. So yeah, we are going to do our best to be great representatives of the work and pass along the information about everything that you have all been able to do. And I'm also going to share this webinar, the recording with the staff that are going to be supporting future possible birth through 5 funds. So just that they have in mind what has been able to happen with the funds. So yeah, thank you, Donalda.
Emma, I have one last question.
Yeah.
How are we gonna submit the last report? Is it gonna come via email, and can we submit it early?
So it will come via email, yes. And if by submitting it early, you mean before August 14th, yes. So, but I will not be sending out the report until the grant cycle has closed, because we really want you to have the full grant cycle to reflect on and share information about, and we don't want people to fill it out before the grant ends. So, I mean, when we send it out, you could submit it the next day on like July 2nd if you want to. You don't have to wait until August 14th. That's just like the ultimate deadline that we need it by. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you so much.
Great.
Yeah, and I love hearing all the fun stories
Yeah.
because usually during the meetings is when I get to do that, because Emma is the one who looks over all the programmatic stuff. So
Yeah.
anytime you just want to share photos, it's a highlight of my day. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
my plug. It's just more photos.
Yeah. It has been especially fun during this webinar to have so many of you share things that went really well. It's been great to get to hear the array of activities and creative ideas that people have used to enhance literacy development across Oregon. So thank you all so much for all the dedication and work that you do to serve the young people and families across Oregon. We've been happy to get to support you and support this grant. So yeah, thank you for attending today, and we'll be sending this out to all of you, and we're going to hang out for a few minutes in case anyone else would like to stay and ask a question. So Brandon, you could stop recording, and then we'll just be here for 10 or 15 minutes for questions if someone wants to hang out.